We're going to sneak in two more questions. We're going to go to Scott Raven in Atlanta, and then our cleanup hitter is Randy Ostrow in Florida.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Coach, for this session. I
My
actually
pleasure.
have McGregor's We Believe list here. I'm looking at two of them in particular. Failure isn't fatal. Disappointment is a certainty. Deal with it. My question is, was there anything specific when you lost in the way that you engaged with the team or your coaching staff that would be good lessons for us to learn to get back up off the mat?
Yeah, so I think the first thing is if you coach, lose. I mean, Scott was kind to say that I was fortunate to be part of over 400 victories, but I also was part of over 200 losses. So I had my share of those too. But with that is that I will say this. I think that we did a lot what we called an autopsy after every game, whether it was a win or loss. Now, what you tended to be is a loss, you tended to learn more because it really showed or manifested some of the things that maybe you weren't so good at, and an opponent took advantage of. So you really wanted to learn from the losses and how can you fix that? Because one of the things that we really focused on our players is after a loss is, okay, this is what we didn't do well, but they have to have clarity of how we can correct that. So I think that, and that's something in life. I think as a leader, when you criticize a team member or the team in general, you have to have clarity of how you correct it. Paint that picture. In our case, we showed a lot of film. As I always told the players, the film doesn't lie. So if we got mad at somebody because they didn't run back on defense, and we showed them this is what not running back on defense means. And then we'd show them a clip of this is what running back defense looks like. So they have clarity of that. But the other thing I think is really important is when you have successes, learn what worked, because so often we just are going to lose control because we lost a game or whatever. And yes, that's a learning experience, but also as you're developing a process, a system that we spent a lot of time in developing, how we wanted to run practices and how we were getting ready for meetings and how we went through a game, how we did our mental imagery, those are all our systems. And we wanted to see, was there a breakdown in something and how we could correct it, or is it working? And that's what that's why we did autopsies both on wins and losses. So, but certainly the losses hurt more, and you certainly probably learn more from them. But I think the biggest thing that you have to do, I've heard this, and we did have this rule, is you have 24 hours to either celebrate or get over it because we got to move on. And in basketball, it's a pretty long season, so you're going to have some ups and downs, but you got to learn from that. And I'd say the other thing that I think we got very good in my last decade of coaching is you cannot take anything for granted. If you disrespect and not prepare, like one of my rules is I never watch film of a team until we were going to play them. So, I know some people, the big game is 2 weeks away. I'm already watching film. That was not me. We watched film and got ready for the next opponent because that's how you get upset if you don't prepare for each opponent with a lot of detail.
Sage wisdom. Thank you so much.
So many lessons in there.